Senator Smith closed the hearings on Saturday the 25th of May, just 5 weeks after they had started. 3 days later, Senator Smith produced the final report. The committee was able to establish that the Titanic had been warned of ice on at least 4 separate occasions, the last coming from the Californian, reporting that they had hove to due to the ice. This last warning was received 1 hour before the Titanic's fatal impact with the iceberg. It was also found that the crew of the Titanic failed to take any of these reports under advisement and displayed a lack of prudence. Indeed, the last radio message had prompted the response, "Shut up, I am busy, I am working with Cape Race." The committee found that no general discussion took place among the officers to consider these warnings. The speed was not reduced, the lookout was not increased, and the only vigilance displayed were instructions to the crew to keep a sharp lookout for ice. With respect to the speed of the vessel, the committee determined that it had been increased on each day of the voyage. It was further believed that on the night the collision occurred, the Titanic had been sailing at full speed, 21 knots, or 24.5 miles per hour. It was further concluded that although the Carpathia was the first ship to arrive to rescue survivors, she was not the closest vessel. Based on the total testimony, the committee was forced to the inevitable conclusion that the closest ship was the Californian. The committee determined that she was certainly closer to the Titanic than the 19 miles reported by her captain. Moreover, it was found that the officers and crew had seen distress signals coming from the Titanic, but had failed to respond to them in accordance with the dictates of humanity and the requirement of law. Senator Smith reported that the conduct of the Californian and its captain, whether arising from indifference or gross carelessness, was most reprehensible. Had assistance been promptly offered, or had the wireless operator of the Californian remained a few minutes longer at his position on Sunday evening, the ship might have had the proud distinction of rescuing the passengers and crew of the Titanic. After it had presented its findings, the committee then determined that additional legislation was necessary to secure the safety of lives at sea. One recommendation was that any sea vessel carrying passengers would be required to have a sufficient number of lifeboats to accommodate every passenger and every member of the crew. Another was the glaringly evident need for regulation of radiotelegraphy. In future, there should be an operator on duty at all times to ensure the immediate receipt of distress calls. Direct communication should be provided between the wireless room and the bridge so that the operator would not have to leave his station. To eliminate the possibility of misunderstanding, the committee recommended that rockets should not be used for any purpose other than as a signal of distress. If they were, it would be considered a misdemeanor offense. With respect to the construction of all seagoing vessels that carry 100 or more passengers, these should have bulkheads so spaced that 2 adjacent compartments may be flooded without destroying the stability of the ship. Finally, it was decided that no vessel should be licensed to carry passengers from ports in the United States until all regulations had been fully met. Senator Smith offered his own summation of the tragedy to the Senate, and part of it reads as follows. In our imagination, we see again the proud ship instinct with life and energy, brave men and noble women of every land. At the very moment of their greatest joy, the ship suddenly reels, mutilating and groaning. With splendid courage, the musicians fill the last moments with sympathetic melody. The ship wearily gives up the unequal battle. Only a vestige remains of the men and women that but a moment before quickened her spacious apartments with human hopes and passions, sorrows and joys. Upon that broken hull new vows were taken, new fealty expressed, old love renewed, and those who, devoted in friendship and companions in life, went proudly and defiantly on the last life pilgrimage together. In such a heritage, we must feel ourselves more intimately related to the sea more than ever before. and henceforth it will send back to us on its rising tide the cheering and salutations from those we have lost. I'm David McCallum.
We hope that you have enjoyed this presentation of the Titanic Chronicles. An abridged video version of this program containing rare archival footage and photographs of the Senate hearings in the Titanic is also available. A feature film, the first to be produced based upon the Titanic, entitled Titanic, the Disaster in the Atlantic and introduced by David McCallum, is also available. For information concerning these programs, please contact our website at www.titanicchronicles.com. This program is hosted by David McCallum and narrated by Eric Braeden, John Cunningham, Tim Curry, David Garrison, Marilu Henner, Bernard Hill, Emmett James, Steve Kearney, Cloris Leachman, and Gloria Stewart. This program is written and produced by Wayne J. Keeley and James Scura. The executive producer is Dennis Friedland. Audio work provided by Co-Directions Incorporated and Frederick Reed. Program music courtesy of John Maxstone Graham, Maritime Historian. The composition is entitled Song de Tom by Archibald Joyce.